But anyway, Nanamietsa, Sharon Sapcut. My family grew up around Apache, Oklahoma. And when we were small, I remember my dad would always tell us these stories. And we used to, when the storms were coming, we had to go into the storm shelter. And he would light the lantern and he would tell us, everybody sit down, we got to be still. You don't run around when the storm's coming, you don't make noise. So we would sit there and then he would say, okay, I have a story for you. So two of my favorite stories, the first one is about these two little brothers. There was these two brothers and they wandered off from camp. And they kept walking and walking and they got lost. And they were always told, don't eat things you're not supposed to. But they were so hungry, they just wandered and wandered. And the smaller brother, he started crying. And his brother told him, he said, get out Nayak, don't cry, don't cry. We're gonna find our mom and dad, our Pia. And so they kept walking and they came to a pond. And the big brother said, let's rest. We're gonna sit here and we'll rest and then we'll go on. And so the big brother fell asleep. And when he woke up, he couldn't find his little brother. And after a while, he seen something walking toward him. And he kept looking, but it didn't look like his little brother. And the little one came up and he said, brother, he said, it's me. He said, look. He said, Gavoon, look. And his brother said, there was an eagle flying up in the sky. And little brother said, yeah. And his big brother started crying and he said, brother, where's that eagle? And the more that the big brother talked to his little brother was getting feathers. He was turning. And the big brother started crying and he said, did you eat it? And he said, huh, that means yeah. Huh, I ate that guina, that eagle. And he said, but I gotta go. And big brother said, but we were told you don't eat that eagle, you don't bother that eagle. He said, but I couldn't help it, I was so hungry. He said, I gotta go, big brother. He said, I can't stay here no more. And then after a while, he got these wings and he started running and he took off and he took off and he was way up in the sky and his brother never saw him anymore. And that's one of my favorite ones. Now this one is kind of a silly one. There was this family of turtles, and we say wakere, and that's turtle. And so this mama turtle had her son, and her son grew up. And the mama turtle told her son, it's time for you to go out in this world. You got to make a living for yourself. You got to go and make your family. You're not a little boy no more. You got to go. And so her son, the turtle, he walked and he walked and he walked, and there was a big log like this. And the mama, she yucked and she was crying, Bia yuck, and Mo, my son, my baby's gone, he's going. And that her son crawled over that log. And every day his Bia, his mama, would look at that log and she'd say, oh, my son, I miss him, I miss him. Every day she would do that. And so one day she went back out there And she was just feeling bad, and she was thinking about her son. I wonder where he is. I wonder what he's doing, my son. And then she was going to go back, and she heard, Bia, Bia. And that's the mother. Bia. She stopped, and she turned around, and she looked. Her son didn't get very far in this world. He barely made it over that log and turned on his back, and he never to this day got anywhere in this world. And I thought that was the cutest story I ever heard. And that's how our dad would keep us entertained, you know. We didn't so much pay any attention to the TV or, you know, we lived a good, simple country life. And I grew up with my mom and dad always talking Comanche. Always, I would hear them. But me thinking that, you know, my mom and dad's gonna be here forever and I'm gonna hear this forever, I didn't pay much attention, and I wish I did now. But from what I know now, I try to tell my grandkids. I tell them who they are. We're from the Penatuka. I'm home. This is where my ancestors were. That's one band that I belong to, and then the next band is the Noyaka. They like to wander. They never stayed in one place very long. They always wandered. And I want my grandkids to know where they come from, who they are, and to learn as much of our ways and our Comanche as they can. Just like you all saw today. I don't know, it may have been the first time that you were ever cedar, but that's the highest blessing you can ever have from the Comanches. And I'm glad you all took part, and I'm very honored to tell those stories. And I thank you.
Ura.
Era.
How old were you when you started speaking English?
I'm sorry.